I woke up in darkness. My body felt cold, stiff, and heavy. I couldn't move my fingers or open my eyes. I could hear people talking far away, like echoes in a dream. Someone said, "She's gone." Another voice whispered, "Cover her." I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I was trapped inside my own body. I tried again. My lips trembled. "Please," I said softly, but no one heard me. A heavy cloth covered my face, and I could feel myself being moved on a metal bed. My mind screamed louder than my voice, "I'm not dead." Everything went quiet for a while. Then I heard footsteps. Slow ones. A mop sliding on the floor. Someone humming. It was a man's voice. He stopped near me. I tried to whisper again, "Help me." He gasped. The sheet flew off. I saw a face looking down at me, dark skin, tired eyes, and fear written all over. "Oh my God," he said. His name tag said Musa. He looked around, afraid someone might see him. "You're alive," he whispered. His hands shook. He tried to lift me, but I was too weak. "They said you were dead," he said again. I didn't understand. The last thing I remembered was being in a hospital room. My father, Mr. Dlamini, stood beside my bed. The doctor had said my heart was failing. Then I felt a sharp pain in my arm and everything went black. Musa ran out, calling for help. But when two nurses came in, they stared coldly at him. One of them said, "What are you doing here?" Musa pointed at me. "She's alive," he shouted. The nurse turned to me and looked at my chest. "No heartbeat," she said quickly. She pressed my neck and shook her head. "You're confused, Musa. Go back to your work." Musa looked scared but didn't move. "I heard her talk," he insisted. The nurse smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "If you want to keep your job, forget what you saw." They pushed him out. I tried to speak again, but they tightened the white sheet around me. I heard them whisper, "Take her to the freezer before anyone else comes." I couldn't breathe. My body shivered. They thought I was dead. The doors opened, and I was rolled into a freezing cold room. Metal walls. Long drawers. The air smelled like medicine and ice. They slid me into one of the drawers and closed it. I started crying silently. My tears froze on my cheeks. Time passed. I didn't know if it was hours or minutes. My heart beat slower, but I refused to give up. I thought of my mother, who died when I was little, and of my father, the man everyone respected, the billionaire who owned this hospital. Why would his doctors let me die like this? Then I heard it again. The sound of footsteps. The same mop dragging on the floor. The door opened, and a beam of light came in. Musa. He was back. He whispered, "If anyone finds me here, I'll lose my job. But I can't leave you like this." He pulled the drawer open. His eyes filled with tears when he saw me blinking slowly. He lifted me carefully and covered me with his jacket. "We're getting out of here," he said. I wanted to trust him, but fear burned inside me. Why did they want me gone? We moved through dark hallways, past nurses who were too busy to notice. He hid me inside a small cleaning room filled with buckets and broken chairs. I lay on the floor while he brought me warm water and a blanket. He whispered, "I work nights here. I hear things. Bad things. I think they tried to kill you." I looked at him in shock. My lips trembled. "Who?" He looked around, as if walls had ears. "Your father," he whispered. I froze. "My father?" Musa nodded. "He told the doctor to make it look like your heart stopped." I heard them in the corridor. Something about, "your money. Your inheritance." My head spun. That can't be true. He sighed. "I wish it wasn't. But I saw the paper with your name. It said private case, silence required." I felt my whole world fall apart. My own father. The man who used to call me his little girl. Musa said quietly, "We can't stay here. They'll look for you when they notice the body is gone." He helped me stand. My legs shook, but I managed to walk slowly. We went down a back staircase leading to the parking area. Suddenly, a door opened above us. Voices. Flashlights. "She's not in the freezer," someone shouted. Musa grabbed my hand. Run. We ran through the back exit, the cold air slapping my face. The hospital looked huge and empty behind us. Cars passed on the main road, but I couldn't stop. I didn't know where we were going, only that I had to survive. We hid behind a delivery truck until the flashlights faded. Then Musa led me to a small shack near the staff quarters. He locked the door behind us. I sat on the bed, shivering. He gave me his phone. Call someone you trust. I stared at the screen. I had no one. My father was the one who tried to kill me. My friends all worked for him. The world outside suddenly felt dangerous and unreal. I handed the phone back. If my father finds you helping me, he'll hurt you. Musa smiled sadly. Then we'll just have to make sure he doesn't. That night, I didn't sleep. I listened to the wind, the dogs barking far away, and the sound of my heartbeat, proof that I was still alive. But deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. Because somewhere inside that big hospital, someone was already looking for me. The night was long and cold. I couldn't sleep. I sat on the small bed in Musa's shack, my hands shaking as I stared at the flickering candlelight. Musa had fallen asleep on the floor, but I could see he wasn't resting. He kept turning, mumbling in his sleep. I wanted to wake him, but I didn't. My thoughts were loud enough to keep us both awake. My own father wanted me dead. That truth felt like poison inside my chest. I wanted to believe Musa was wrong, but deep down I knew he wasn't. My father had changed since my mother died. Money became his only love. Maybe I was just another obstacle to him now. When the first light of morning touched the window, Musa woke up. He looked tired but smiled softly. "We need to leave soon," he said. "They'll come here." "Where will we go?" I asked. He hesitated. "There's someone I know. A nurse who used to work at the hospital. She left because of something strange. Maybe she can help." We left quietly, walking through narrow streets, pretending to be just two people going to work. But every sound made me flinch: a car door, a voice, even the wind. I felt hunted. At a small taxi rank, we boarded a minibus to Imlazi. The driver kept looking at me in the mirror. I tried to look normal, but my hospital gown under the borrowed jacket gave me away. Musa whispered, "Just keep your head down." When we reached Imlazi, he led me to a tiny clinic behind a row of shops. A woman in a nurse's uniform opened the door. Her name was Lindayo. Her eyes widened when she saw me. "Zanil," she whispered. "I thought you were dead." I finished her sentence. She nodded slowly. She looked at Musa, then closed the door quickly. "If they find you here, we're all finished," she said. "I need to know the truth," I said. "Why did my father do this?" Lindayo looked down. "Because you found out about Project Z." I frowned. "What's Project Z?" She bit her lip. "A secret program at the hospital. Your father approved it. It involves young women, blood transfusions, and experiments. You were never supposed to know." The room went silent. I felt cold again, like that freezer all over. "You mean, they used people?" Lindayo nodded. "Mostly poor patients. They took blood and organs for rich clients overseas. You found the reports last month, remember? That's why they had to silence you." My chest hurt. I remembered finding a locked folder on my father's desk weeks ago, full of patient names and strange numbers. I thought it was business stuff. I never imagined it was this. Before we could speak again, there was a loud knock on the door. 3 hard hits. Lindayo froze. "They're here." Musa grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the back door. We ran into a narrow alley. I could hear men shouting behind us. "There! Catch them!" We ran as fast as we could, turning corners until we reached a crowded market. Musa pulled a hoodie over my head. "Stay close," he whispered. I could see black cars stopping at the far end of the street. Men in suits got out. My father's men. I swallowed hard. "Musa, they're going to find us." He looked at me with steady eyes. "Not if we disappear first." We hid inside an old bus that smelled like dust and fuel. Musa covered the windows with newspapers. I sat quietly, listening to footsteps outside. Every second felt like an hour. Finally, the sounds faded. Musa sat beside me. "Lindheim's right," he said. "Your father's hospital isn't just a hospital. It's a place for selling what people can't afford to lose, their own bodies." I turned to him. "How do you know all this?" He looked away. "Because I used to clean the basement. I saw the rooms they don't show the public. Cold rooms with patients who were still breathing. I heard their cries. I didn't speak because I needed the job. But when I saw you that night, I couldn't stay silent anymore. My eyes filled with tears. So it's true. He killed people to make money." Musa nodded slowly. "And you were next because you tried to stop it." I stared out the window, my mind spinning. "What do we do now?" He smiled faintly. "We find proof. If we can get the files, we can expose him." "Where?" "In the hospital's restricted lab," he said. "But it's locked with his private code." "How will we get it?" I asked. He hesitated, then looked at me seriously. "From him." That night, we went back. The hospital was quiet. Only security guards and a few nurses moved around. Musa knew every corner, every blind spot. We sneaked in through the laundry room and climbed the back stairs. I wore a mask and a nurse's jacket Lindheim had given me. My heart beat so fast I thought everyone could hear it. We reached the office level. The door to my father's office was half open. The light was still on. I peeked through the gap and froze. My father was inside, talking on the phone. "I want every camera checked." "She can't be far," he said coldly. "If that janitor is helping her, finish him." I covered my mouth to stop myself from gasping. When he turned his back, Musa whispered, "We'll wait till he leaves." Minutes later, my father left, slamming the door. We rushed in. The room smelled like his cologne and old papers. His computer screen was still on. Musa started typing. "If we can find Project ZS folder, we can copy it." But as soon as he clicked the file, a message appeared on the screen. "Access denied, fingerprint required." He cursed under his breath. "We need his print." Before I could speak, I heard footsteps coming back. We ducked under the desk just as the door opened again. My father entered with 2 men. "Search this office," he said. "She might come here for answers." I held my breath as one of the men opened drawers just inches away. Musa's hand trembled beside mine. Then, one of the guards bent down to tie his shoe, right beside our hiding spot. My heart stopped. I thought it was over. The man's eyes moved toward the desk, but then his phone rang. He stood up quickly. "Yes, sir," he said, walking away. When they finally left, Musa pulled me out slowly. My legs were shaking. "That was too close," he whispered. We rushed to the exit, but as we turned the corner, someone grabbed my arm hard. It was a woman, one of the nurses from before. Her eyes were cold. "Going somewhere, Miss Lamini?" Before Musa could react, she injected something into his neck. He collapsed instantly. I screamed. "Musa." The nurse smiled. "Your father said you'd come back." 2 guards came and dragged me down the hall. I kicked and screamed, but they held me tight. They pushed me into a small dark room and locked the door. I knelt beside Musa, shaking him. His eyes were half open. "Don't let them," he whispered weakly. "Don't talk," I said, crying. "I'll find a way." Then I heard a voice from the intercom above. My father's voice. "I told you, Zaniel. Some truths are too dangerous to live with." I looked up at the speaker. "Why, Dad? Why would you do this to me?" His voice was calm, almost gentle. "Because you were going to destroy everything I built." I shouted, "You built it on blood." He sighed. "That's business, my dear." I felt rage burn inside me. "I'm not your daughter anymore." He laughed quietly. "You'll understand one day. But for now, goodbye." The intercom clicked off. Then, I heard a loud hiss, gas filling the room. I covered Musa's mouth and tried to open the door, but it was locked from the outside. My head started to spin. I kicked harder. My vision blurred. "Musa," I cried, shaking him. "Wake up." The room was spinning faster now. The world faded to grey. Then suddenly, the door burst open. Someone pulled us out into the corridor. A woman's voice said, "Hurry, before the guards come." It was Lindio. When Lindio pulled us out, I could hardly see. My head spun, and my hands felt weak. Musa coughed beside me, his eyes blinking slowly. Lindio held both of us up and led us through a side passage I had never seen before. "This way," she whispered. "There's a service lift that goes straight to the basement exit." The corridor was dark, lit only by a red emergency light. My legs trembled, but I refused to stop. We got into the lift, and the doors closed softly. As it moved down, I stared at Lindio. "Why are you helping us?" She looked at me with tired eyes. "Because I lost a sister here. She came for surgery and never came out. I knew your father's people were hiding things. When I saw the news that you were dead, I knew the same thing had happened again." Musa leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "You saved us twice," he said softly. Lindio pressed a finger to her lips. "Not yet. We still need to get proof. Without it, they'll find us again." The lift stopped with a small shake. The doors opened into a storage area full of old files and dusty boxes. I walked to one of the metal cabinets and opened it. Inside were folders with names and dates, hundreds of them. I found one that had my name, Zaniel Dlamini. My heart pounded. Inside were test results, hospital notes, and a signed document with my father's signature. It said authorization for experimental use. My knees felt weak. I sat on the floor, staring at it. Lindio knelt beside me. "That's what we needed." Musa took pictures with his phone. "Now the world will know." We copied every file we could carry and left through a back door that opened into the early morning air. The sun was rising, but the world still felt dark. We hid for 2 days at a safe house outside the city. Lindio contacted a journalist she trusted, a woman who had once exposed corruption in another hospital. Her name was Marzigo. When Marzigo arrived, I was afraid to speak. But she listened carefully as we told her everything, showing her the documents and photos. She didn't ask many questions. She just nodded and said, "If this is true, it will shake the country." That night, she posted the story online. Within hours, it spread everywhere. People shared it, commented, cried, got angry. News stations called it the Billionaire hospital scandal. My father's face was on every screen. He tried to deny it, but the papers and signatures were there. Investigations began. The police came for him, and for the doctors who helped him. For the first time, I felt like I could breathe again. A week later, I went back to the hospital not as a patient, but to stand outside its gates. Reporters were everywhere. Lindio held my hand. Musa stood behind me, smiling quietly. Someone asked, "What will you do now, Zaniel?" I looked at the big building and said, "I'll build a real hospital. One where poor people won't die because they can't pay." That's what my mother would have wanted.